I'm alone now. They're in the other room eating. The dog. They're eating the dog. They don't even try to hide it from me. I'm apparently so weak, I'm not a threat to them. They hid it when the cops came by. They broke out into smiles, acted personable and friendly. Told them I was delusional but not violent. They're mostly right. Every time I look at them, I want to kill them, but then I see my wife's face, my son's face, and I can't do it. Besides, they probably overpower me. I don't know where they came from. It started with a sore on my wife's back. At first, she thought it was from where her bra chafed. But after a few days, it began to swell and blister. I told her it looked like a boil, that she should go get it lanced. She asked me to do it. By a professional, I said. I didn't want to touch it. She asked me to look at it again days later. It had gotten so big, the skin around it was red and angry, and the shiny bubble of the infected area was cloudy white. But when I looked closer, I saw movement in it. Something red seemed to swirl inside. That looks really bad, I told her. You really need to go see a doctor about it. She twisted her arms behind her. Maybe I can get it myself, she said. She tried to pop it like a zit, but I could see her tensing in pain every time she prodded at it. I couldn't watch. It was too gross. I started leaving when she gave a shriek. She had bursted. There was pus running down her back and on her fingers. There was a smell too. Something rotten. I lost all desire to have anything to eat that day when the odor hit me. But the most noticeable thing was the long, segmented, wriggling worm thing that hung down from the open wound. What the hell is that? She didn't seem to feel it, but I could feel it on my own spine. The way that thing squirmed like it was pinned under a rock and trying to get free. Does it look better? She asked. Jesus Christ, woman, there's some sort of centipede or something hanging out. I should have known there was something wrong. The way she didn't immediately panic from being told that. Who in their right mind wouldn't panic if someone told them there was a living creature crawling outside of their giant burst boil? Can you pull it out? Can I pull it out? Hell no. I'm not pulling that out. But it was my wife, and I was reasonably upset and needed to kill that thing, so yes, I'll try to pull it out. Oh God, please don't let it touch me. I went and got the tweezers. No way I was using my fingers. I got that little shit dead to rights in the grip of my tweezers, but that's when I discovered it wasn't trying to wiggle free. It was trying to wriggle back in. It was strong, too. What kind of nightmare did that thing come from that it could fight back? And then my wife started screaming, agonizing wails like I had a grip on her guts and was pulling them out. I almost let go, but I was too determined to not let that thing loose. Our son, bless his heart, came running into the room to save his mommy from whatever was hurting her. "Get out!" I yelled. "What's wrong with Mommy?" he asked. "She'll be fine in just a second. Just get out and don't look." And then I pinched the tweezers so hard they snipped the end off that thing, and with what almost seemed like glee, it slithered into my wife's back and was gone. leaving just a wriggling little bit hanging from the tweezers. I rushed to the bathroom, in part because I felt ready to puke, and in part, I wanted to be rid of the thing. I wasn't thinking clearly. I should have hung on to it. Instead, I flushed it down the toilet, and spent several minutes gripping my knees and waiting for my last meal to pay me a visit. She was gone. Not physically, but my wife wasn't there anymore. When I went back to check on her, she was just humming to herself and putting a bandage over the spot on her back. There was a nasty-looking stain on the sheets where she'd been sitting. She looked at me and asked if I was all right. Me? You have a centipede crawling around inside you. No, I don't. I saw it. We need to get to the hospital. I grabbed her wrist and suddenly she wrenched free and grabbed mine instead. Shit, her grip was strong. She twisted my arm and shoved me away. I'm fine, she said. She told me the next day that she'd been to see a doctor, and I believed her. She said the doctor couldn't find anything wrong, and I congratulated her on doing such a fine job of popping it. I just accepted what she told me as the truth. Then, 3 days later, she got him. My son. I didn't know. I hadn't realized yet that she wasn't her anymore. If I had known, don't you think I would have taken him out of there the very first night? I would have driven to the far corner of the globe to keep him safe. I came home and he was already asleep in bed. What's wrong with Tim? I asked it, the thing that pretended to be my wife. Oh, he's not feeling well, the poor dear. The poor dear. I went in and checked on him to see how he was doing. He was asleep, so I didn't wake him. It wasn't until the day after, while keeping tabs on him in the bath, that I noticed the red welt forming between his shoulder blades. What's that? I asked him. Did you get hurt? That's my lucky mark, he said. Lucky mark? Mommy says it'll bring me luck. God, no. It still hadn't dawned on me. I can tell you now, but when I was living it, I wasn't putting two and two together. All I knew was my son had a mark on his back that was starting to look red and swollen. And since the incident with my wife 4 nights ago was over and a doctor had supposedly given her a clean bill of health, I didn't think the two were related. By the 5th night, it was exactly the same. An angry red blister, swollen with milky pus that seemed to be stirring underneath his skin. This is some sort of infection, I told the thing pretending to be my wife. Don't be silly, it's just a blister, it'll go away. No, it won't. This is exactly like what you had. Maybe the thing I saw coming out of yours got in him. We need to take him to the hospital, immediately. Don't trouble yourself. If it looks this bad in the morning, I'll take him tomorrow, it promised. I'm taking him now, I yelled. No, you won't. And her face went completely blank. Just all expression lost. She opened her mouth and her jaw hung down like it was loose in its socket. And even though she wasn't moving her jaw or lips, I could still hear her talking. If you try to take him, I will split you from groin to gullet. I've never seen something so awful as my wife's face all blank and mouth hanging open while some thick second voice lurched out of her and threatened to disembowel me. Was I scared? Fuck yeah, I was scared. And to make her point, the thing grabbed a handful of my gut and squeezed so hard I thought she was going to actually tear me apart right there. I was yelling in pain, and she just looked at me without any sort of expression and clenched my flesh in her fist so hard I ended up with a black and yellow bruise for days afterward. Who cares about bruises, though? I was scared, and I knew it wasn't my wife anymore. I wanted to get my son out of there, but she never slept anymore. I suspect she'd been faking sleeping all along. Me? I hadn't slept in our bed since the first night. I had changed the sheets, but the stain from the stuff running down her back had left a mark on the mattress, too. And I knew it was there, and had no idea whether it was contagious or not. 2 weeks later, the boil on my son's back had dwindled to a red sore spot again. But he was just like his mother now. Always smiling and acting like everything was okay. Never sleeping either. He let me put it to bed, but when I go check on it later, I'd catch it with its eyes open before it shut them and tried to convince me it was asleep. I can't keep pretending they're my family. And then, of course, with me being outnumbered, they decided it was no longer necessary to keep up appearances when we were alone. They'd sit down on the couch in front of the television and just let the bodies shut off. Jaws hanging open, eyes rolled up back in their sockets, holding hands like a loving mother and son, but I suspect something far more insidious. Maybe some sort of silent communication. If I got up or the phone rang or someone came to the door, they'd immediately snap back to their game of pretending to be human. I've told others, but after the first looks of sympathy for a man losing his mind, I gave up. It sounds cliche, but screw you. You don't know how true it is until something this bizarre and frightening happens to you and nobody believes you. Police came and almost dragged me away, but the wife and son things convinced them not to. I'm the money earner, after all. They probably wouldn't know what to do to make a living. I can't sleep. They're waiting for me to fall asleep. And they're in no rush. They can wait me out. It's been weeks now, and they just sit there and watch television and smile, and every now and then they both turn to look at me at the same time to see if I've dozed off. Joke's on them, though, because I've been taking naps in the car after work before I drive home. The real problem is, we're running out of food. I kept a freezer in the basement, stocked with a month's worth of stuff, and they ate through it all, like a pair of ravenous hyenas. Neither of them leave, so nobody goes grocery shopping. I just make sure to eat at work, hoping to starve them out into the open. But then they go and do what they've just done. Now that the dog's gone, there's only one thing left for them to eat. Won't that be a dilemma for them?